What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Dr. Killjoy, coming back at you again. And it's that time again. We've had another week in the cut. It's time for some more power rankings. Before we get into that, we're hopping straight on into the recap. So, starting off our matches on Thursday, you have Dallas Empire with a 3-1 over Legion. Then to end Thursday, you got Rocker with a 3-0 upset. I mean, at this point, I don't know that I would call it an upset based off the rest of the weekend, but 3-0 over Optic Chicago. Shout out Standy, absolutely went off in his debut. Moving on into Friday, you got London Royal Ravens with a 3-1 over the Thieves. Thieves did make that team change. They have Venom in for temp. You got Subliners 3-1 over Gorillas. And then going on into the next day, you got Subliners again, 3-1 over the London Royal Ravens. That's their first loss after they put Paul X into the lineup. Worth noting there. FaZe 3-0 over Thieves. You got Ultra 3-2 over the Gorillas. You got Surge with a 3-0 over Paris. Not how I would have predicted that one going, but hey, this league is anything but predictable. I think it's proven at this point. Then you got Rocker with another massive win, 3-2 over the Dallas Empire. You love to see it for the boys. And then you got Mutineers, 3-0 over Optic to end the weekend. So, we're hopping straight on into power rankings. Quick disclaimer before I start ranking. This isn't necessarily based off of just this weekend's performance. It's based off of how I think about the team in general and how much faith I have in them to perform at a high level. Throwing it out there now, because there was teams that went off this weekend. There's teams that had stinkers this weekend, but hopping straight on into it. I got my notes out ready to go. We're prepared for this one. So first off, you got the Dallas Empire went 1-1 on the weekend. 3-1 victory and a 2-3 loss. It was to the Rocker as well. They still belong in the S tier teams, in my opinion. They've done nothing to prove that they deserve to go down. They did lose to the Rocker, but the Rocker looked insane this weekend, so no discredit to them. The Rocker's really good at search. Good series right there. Next up, you got Legion, who went 0-2 on the weekend. 1-3 loss and an 0-3 loss. Legion has given me so much false hope this year, and I'm very just disappointed in them at this point. I'm going to put them in the C tier because I think they could beat most of the teams in the league, if not, I mean, they could have a good day and beat any team in the league, but I don't see them as a consistent winner anymore. They're dropping down to C tier. They've given me so much false hope throughout this year, and I'm kind of sick of them, to be honest. Next up, you got Optic Chicago. 0-6 map count. Got 3-0 twice this weekend. You hate to see it for them. I'm dropping them out of the S tier, don't worry, but we're leaving them in A. I still have faith in that squad to regain. It was a bad weekend. It happens. They'll bounce back, and I expect them to be back up in the S tier. I'm going to be disappointed in them if they aren't. Moving on, you got the Minnesota Rocker with Standy beating an S and an A tier team. I think I had them in D in the last power rankings. I believe I had them second lowest team in the league. So I'm jumping them all the way from D. We're moving them to A behind Optic. And I understand that they threw a Yod Optic. But if I had to pick a team to win an event right now, I would still pick Optic over Rocker. Rocker had a very good weekend, but I need them to prove it in more than just 2 matches. We need to see that develop further to have them keep climbing the ladder. But that's by far my biggest jump on the rankings this week. Next up, you got the LA Thieves, a 1-3 loss and a 0-3 loss. It's a big yikes out of the LA Thieves. They did make the team change. So far, not paying off. Temp on the bench with Venom in. I'm still going to put them in the B tier, I think. I think they can definitely turn it around. Rough weekend. Not a lot of practice with that team change going into it. So the more reps they get, the better they will be. I have faith in that team to turn it around for sure. Next up, you got the London Royal Ravens. A 3-1 win and a 1-3 loss. That loss was to the Subliners, so not a bad team. Honestly, I'm going to put the Royal Ravens where do I want to put them? Put them ahead of the Thieves. Full send it. I am high on the London Royal Ravens still. 3-1 in this season currently, I believe. With Paul X in the lineup, they only lost to the Subliners, which are a very strong squad, so no discredit to them on that. That squad is looking very strong with Paul X in the lineup. I think they'd belong in the B tier 100%. Who we got next? We got the New York Subliners. 2 3-1 victories for them over the weekend. They are jumping ahead of Optic. Not putting them in the S tier yet, I think they're almost like on that line of S tier. I don't know that they could consistently beat my S tier teams, is the only reason that they aren't quite up there yet, but they are definitely at the top of the A tier. They've surpassed Optic in this week's power rankings, so we'll need to see those teams clash again, hopefully at the major. That would be a good series. I'd love to see that one. Next up, we got the LA Gorillas, 1-3 and a 2-3 loss. I kind of feel similar about the Gorillas as I do about Paris. They could beat any team. I don't see either of these teams winning an event at this point in the year. I put them below the Legion. And for the reason that I think the Legion can win more maps more consistently. I don't know. I'm higher on the Legion than the Gorillas, I guess. But the Gorillas aren't a bad team. I just don't see them making any big splashes or waves to just turn up during a weekend and absolutely run a tournament or anything. I don't see them with that possibility. Any team in the C tier or below, I don't think will win a tournament. B tier or above could. B is like my dark horse picks probably. S is the easy predictions, and A is like not necessarily a bold prediction to win a tournament, but kind of going along those lines. FaZe, I've said it. I think I've said this exact line every single power rankings. No explanation needed. They're the best team in the game. And until proven otherwise, they will be the number one team on my power rankings. There's no reason to put them anywhere else on this list. They're the best team in the game. Next up, also, side note from this weekend, starting with FaZe, and then these last three teams, Ultra, Surge, and Mutineers, the four teams to only play one series this weekend, and they all won when they only played one series. I thought that was an interesting trend to see. So you got the Ultra with a 3-2 victory over LAG. Ultra. I'm still pissed they benched Methods. I'm going to put them right there because that's where I think they belong. I'm not confident in them as a squad. I'm so low on Ultra that it hurts me to even put them there, but they 3-2 beat the Gorillas, so I guess I'll give them the edge this time. I could see the Ultra dropping down to the bottom team again, though. I just need Gorillas to get one win, so I have a reason to do it. Next up, you got Surge, 3-0 win over Paris. Surge have been looking a little bit better recently. I don't know what their exact record is in this season thus far. I want to say it's like a 2-1, though, if I'm not mistaken. They've been looking a little better with some practice. I'll put some respect on the Surge, put them bottom of the B tier. But I think there is a gap right here. That almost makes me want to put Surge at the top of C. I think you can make an argument Surge bottom of B, top of C, somewhere in that zone. Not really sure where to place them, honestly, so they're just going to sit right there. Last but not least, you got the Florida Mutineers had a 3-0 victory over Optic. To be fair, Optic wasn't looking great this weekend. Where do I put the Mutineers? I'm between two spots. I'll think out loud here for a second. I'm between here and it won't let me put them here, but right there you go. I'm between here or behind the Ravens. I'm a Pollux fan. We're putting them behind the Ravens, and that's just because that's what I want to do in is my power rankings. If you disagree, make your own power rankings. Mutineers, I think they're a talented squad. I feel like they're just inconsistent. If they can find some consistency, they could move all the way up to S tier, 100%. But if they stay inconsistent, they could find themselves dropping down to a C tier, to be honest. Because if you're inconsistent, you're not going to win tournaments. So, that's going to be my power rankings post Stage 2, Week 2. It wasn't a home series, just Stage 2, Week 2. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what teams need to be higher, what teams need to be lower. Where's your favorite team ranked? Let me know down below. That's going to do it for today. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.